Monday helping, even though, well, it's raining here.
Yes.
And it's been on and off raining here, but I don't know what's going on down Merrick's Way, Robbo.
Oh, it's still pissing rain.
So, Bill, we've got a bout of rain. Was this forecast?
No.
I don't know that it was.
I don't think it was, but it's good.
I know it is good.
I like it.
No doubt about that. Damo in shortly.
Oh, good.
Big round of footy, so we'll get to all the bottom of the topics. Speaking of topics, Brayshaw back. It comes on a Monday. Looking forward to that.
Good.
Five of five. Hugh Greenwood from the Rampaging Kangaroos. What the bloody hell? Who saw them at 2-0? Certainly not me. Thanks. And then
They're fifth on the ladder.
That's unbelievable. And then, of course, Joke to finish up later on, and we talk about something that happened at the MCG over the weekend. So there's a bit in this show that you'll enjoy, I'm sure. Hello, Willis.
Hey, g'day, Jimmy boy. Great to be with you, of course, and good to see you, Rabbits.
And then a disher over the top, and Jamie Elliott thought and heard pressure coming from the back.
Stayed in.
Was there a whistle? Is the whistle gone? What's going on?
Ah, it's still in.
What is going on?
Play.
All the players have stopped.
You're kidding.
Unbelievable. Oh, party trick from Penrith.
Hello.
Got it to Nick
Kick the
Dacos.
goal.
Nick Dacos to kick a goal. Play of the year. Play of the year.
Come on,
It's
Burn.
ridiculous. Did
What
you see
happened
that?
there? No.
Scott Pendlebury just did the flick over the head handball. Beautiful.
How well is he going?
No, going beautifully.
He gets a run in the 5.
Well, does he?
Well, Jay-Z does.
Jay-Z does, right there. 'cause
Gets
he-
excited. Jay-Z,
Very
when
excited.
Scott's going.
That's it.
Yeah. Time now, Rapsy, for a little...
Now on
Wrappy.
Triple M's Rush Hour,
Hurry up, Bill, and get to the rap.
it's Billy's All Sports Report.
Oh, Jimmy boy, plenty of injuries. I know Damo's coming in, so I'll just abbreviate these, and
Yes.
then Damian will come in,
Yes,
okay?
yes. Abbreviate them.
Dustin Martin, something going on there.
Oh.
So we'll have a look at him.
Yes.
Jacob Hopper limped off with an ankle, Jim. This is all Richmond, of course. They take on the rampaging Collingwood at the MCG Friday night. 6-day turnaround.
Yes.
And Nathan Broad is out suspended.
Yes.
So they've got a
Sling
few.
tackle, I saw that. Yep.
Another injury at the Saints with Jack Steele. What about this? He broke his collarbone and come back on. And the great Ross Lyon was back on the Sunday rub yesterday. He had this to say.
But look, we've got challenges. I don't know if you guys are aware, but Jack Steele did break his collarbone last night. So he come back on the ground and played. He'll get a plate inserted. And, you know,
How long
hopefully,
out, Ross?
Well, we're hoping for 3 or 4 weeks. So the doctors are saying 4, but he's the man of steel, right? So I'm tipping 3.
Man of steel.
Hey, good effort. He came back
no,
on.
he is a
Broken
tough
collarbone.
boy.
And you couldn't touch anyone. He's
Speaking of 2-0,
2-0. They're
the bloody
fine.
Saints.
Where are they on the ladder, Jim? It's
Jeepers.
just weird
is.
weekend of footy, wasn't it? They're second.
No. Well,
Unbelievable.
we talked to Damo about it. There's some very strange happenings early on.
There was. Whopping 765,789 fans have flocked to the opening 2 rounds, Jim.
Most ever.
Officially the highest attended opening 2 rounds in AFL history.
So
How good.
Brilliant.
Well done. That is fantastic to all the supporters out there.
Yep.
The NRL.
Rugby league.
Storm had a victory, Jim,
Yes.
at home. They
Nice.
defeated the West Tigers 24-12.
Yep.
Yes! Bit going on there because News Corp are reporting that Queensland Rugby League are trying to keep Billy Slater at Queensland, of course. But Matty Tripp has confirmed Melbourne Storm are keen to lure Slater back to replace Craig Bellamy.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes.
You are sure?
That's if Bellamy does pull the pin at the end of the year, but Billy Slater just goes straight in there. So keep a little eye on that, Jimmy boy.
Oh, no.
Winking. What about the netball? Debacle here, Jim. The
I
Magpies
saw this.
and the Vixens played. The Vixens won 62-61, okay? One by one. But the Vixens were given 2 centre passes in a row.
How do you do that?
Well, that's umpire error.
Yes, it was.
Because it comes up on the screen, it says either Vixens or Collingwood have got the centre pass.
Yes.
They got 2 in a row.
Yep.
And they won by a point.
Yep.
So, wowee, there was a bit going on there, as there was over in Adelaide at Netball South Australia Stadium. So, the game was delayed an hour because the playing surface was deemed to be too slippery.
Right.
So, then they finally played, went to half time, and then there was a blackout. And so, game was called off, 2 points each. The lights did not come back on at Netball Australia, South Australia. So, what's going on with blackouts? Wowee. Rugby. Not rugby league. Oh, it's going to hit it.
It's gonna hit it.
Union.
Yeah, Union. The Rebels, they were down 14-zip after about 10 minutes, Jim. 14-zip. They won 40-34 over the Queensland Reds.
Beautiful.
Well done to them. We get to the Sheffield Shield,
I
Jim.
know, my mob.
How good, WA?
Too
Your
good
mob.
they were.
So they've won back-to-back
Ashton
Sheffield
Turner,
Shields.
by the way, game-changing innings. Well played.
Won by 9 wickets over Victoria. Ashton Turner, 128 in the first innings, Jim, player of the match.
Yes.
Victoria made 210 the second innings. Sutherland got 83
Yes.
and took 5 wickets.
Now. Very
Good
good
on
player.
him. Yeah. They have now won 17 Shields. WA,
Yep.
Jim. Wow-wee. So the last 6 trophies on offer over the last 2 years, Western Australia have won them all.
All 6.
BBL,
Yep.
the Marsh Cup, the Sheffield
Oh, no.
Shield.
Oh, no.
Jim, what's happened here?
Lights off.
Oh, no, Jim.
Fat.
What's going on?
What
It's
the
a
hell's
weird.
going on here?
I can't see. I can't read, so I can't
Blackouts
see.
follow me around.
And, of course, when there's a blackout, you go with...
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Blackout.
What are you doing, Beers?
Beersy.
Oh.
Guys, here we are. We're back on now.
Was that Beersy?
We're back on now.
Well done, Beersy.
Nicely done. All right.
So well done to WA.
Yes.
Too good.
Unbelievable. Adam
6
Voges might well be the next Australian coach.
You
Not
know-
that old Ronnie's got anything to worry about, but when he's had enough,
Voges.
very, very good operator.
You know what WA cricket needs? Not a bigger boat. They need a bigger trophy cabinet. Where do they put them all?
The whacker somewhere?
Where?
Imagine? Don't know.
All right. Well, they
Well,
tore
the
it down.
Sheffield Shield it stays with the winning state for the year.
So
and
the
then,
Shield's up there.
Yeah, you don't get one each time.
All right. What's the BBL trophy?
Yeah,
what was
well,
that?
That's a weird ass looking thing.
It's got like a bowl on
a
top
bowl
of it.
on top
Yeah.
of it.
And a Marsh Cup? What do
Marsh
you get
Cup.
there?
I have no idea what that looks like.
Righto.
But I'd expect the BBL trophy you would get a new one
There's
each
a
time.
bit going on in this
Now,
studio.
Fat,
Yeah, that'll
we've got
do.
Damo coming in. Have
Oh,
we
no.
finished Whappy?
Yeah. All right then. Poor old Fat was on fire.
Well, you got any more?
And the lights
No,
went out.
That's
Yeah,
it.
lights went out on your Whappy.
Oh, no.
A bit to discuss, Purple.
Where do you want to
Bit
start,
going
Jim?
on.
Positive.
There is, yeah.
I don't think there's a sane person involved in the game who would have said that North Melbourne and the St Kilda Football Club would be 2-0.
And throw Essendon in that conversation too.
Essendon as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And on the same parameter, you've then got teams like Geelong
And the Dogs.
and the Dogs not
Yep.
able to win a game
I
of
know.
footy at this point in
And
time.
Freo.
And Freo as well.
Yeah, all
given,
3 of them in the finals
yeah.
last year, and of course Geelong winning it. It's been a weird ass start to the year. So the positives, where do you want to start?
Well, I think it's natural to start with the 5 teams that have had the 2 wins. Collingwood, Sydney, North, St Kilda, Essendon. We'll get through those. And then you need to add 2 more to that list of unbeaten teams because Collingwood, Richmond,
Yes.
obviously in the very first game of the year drew. So they're still unbeaten. Sorry, Richmond, Carlton. Bill, thank you. Yes. So there's 7 teams who are yet to lose. Collingwood, and you called the game on the weekend, Jim, and they're just playing just beautiful football.
Yeah, it is. It is
Historically
superb.
beautiful
Yep.
football.
Good
It
to
is.
watch.
Yep.
Currently outright favourite to win the flag.
Are they?
And should be.
$5.50. And also Nick Dacos is now the equal favourite to win the Brownlow at
With
$11
whom?
with Clayton Oliver.
Clayton Oliver.
Yeah.
Wow.
And LDU's come into $18,
Yep.
Jim, from $80.
Yeah, he would
for
have
the
6
Brownlow.
votes to this point. We'll get to him in a minute. But Collingwood are superb.
They
And
are.
I said this on the day. It's hard for all of us to say it who aren't like Rabs and Rabid Collingwood. We've all been, tuned over the years to, detest the bloody joint. But there's nothing you can do but admire what they're
No.
doing at the moment.
It
They're
crept in-
superb.
It crept in last year, didn't it, that facet? The general and genuine love of the outsider. And I think we all thought normal transmission would resume in 2023.
Yes.
And yet I think the love's elevated.
No, I agree.
And it is just on the back of this preparedness to just take the game on at
Comes
every
from the
stage.
coach.
It absolutely does, Bill. Yeah. Yeah, and just
No,
this
love it.
mantra of trying to be fun. So, love what they did too in the off-season. They're never going to get a lot of goals and a lot of stats out of Dan McStay, but they knew what they were going to get, and we're starting to see it, aren't they? Just that workman-like footballer in the
Something
forward
a
line.
bit different.
Yeah,
And Darcy Cameron's the other one.
Darcy Cameron stood right up, and
They got him for nothing, didn't they?
it was cheapish.
Cheap,
It was
yeah,
cheapish.
from the Swans, yeah.
yeah, cheapish. So they traded, or they got him in, but it was on the lower end. And Tom Mitchell, again, not a lot of stats yet, but the 3 goals he's kicked over the 2 games, it's that's what they need him to do, and the clearance work that he's doing. So elevated. Sydney, don't know what they've done yet because they beat obviously bashed up Sydney Hawthorn on the weekend, having done a similar job on Gold Coast the week before. They're not teams you're going to expect.
They've
to
got
figure.
Melbourne this weekend.
They've got Melbourne this weekend.
So there's a
Yeah.
test for them. Melbourne will bounce back.
That will be the one in this week. So liked what they did too. I mean, Buddy couldn't play because of the suspension, and then obviously Amadi comes in, kicks 5, gets subbed out at 3/4 time, and Logan McDonald, who's still a work in progress, only into his 3rd season, just small, low 20s games to his name, but but good for him to kick the 4 goals.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. And you've always been a
No, I
fan
like him.
of
Yeah,
his.
I've heard
Yep.
great things about him. Yep.
We touched on St Kilda as well, and the forced rejigging of that entire team, but particularly the forward line, it's just worked a treat, hasn't it? To the point where a Mitch Owens can, in a short time in the game, become a key player. Matthias Philippou, same thing, having impact on the scoreboard. It wasn't part of the planning even a month ago for these guys to be the stars in that team. So what they did on the weekend was, obviously in keeping
That's
with
what the
where they're
coach
at.
does. How important is a good coach? Crusty old coaches like Ross
Ridiculously
Lyon, Clarko, even Wayne Bennett up there.
Oh, absolutely.
Mate, they just bring something to the club. Now, and it's
They bring
having-
a system, don't they, Bill?
Yeah, they do. They even bring culture, which is very hard to determine what culture is, but they bring something with them.
Yep.
And Clarko's done it, and so has Ross Lyon there.
Yep.
Even the young boy from North, the Geelong boy, what's his name, left footer, was good in the practice game for the Saints.
Mason
Mason Wood.
Yeah.
Blokes like
Yeah.
that, they're playing really, really good team footy.
It's brilliant they're back in the fold, I think. Because in a day gone by, once coaches had been spat out of the system, that was the end.
yeah.
I just think it's superb that they're both back coaching and are doing a brilliant job. It's
Well,
good.
Jim, and again, you I think for quite some time have been pumping up Luke Davies-Uniacke, who Bill said is now into the second or third line of betting on the Brownlow.
$18 from 80.
You talk about Dacos potentially having 6 Brownlow medal votes after 2 games. I think he would
Yep,
too, wouldn't he?
No doubt. No, he's a star. He's what they call in the north of England purple, different gravy. He does stuff that most people can't do. He literally has got that explosive exiting out of stoppages. It's Chris Judd-like. He's not as good as the great man, but those are the qualities he has. He's a ripper. Good kid too.
And again, we've all had a view now on what happened in that last moment. I still feel, despite the AFL signing off on it, that it would have felt right for a free kick to be paid to Fremantle when the ball crossed the line. But at the same time, it wasn't the reason they
I
lost.
reckon the
footy.
ball was over, by the way.
Explain. Well, it's interesting. I read the West today too, and then no more parochial place in the world than Western Australia.
Yeah.
And 2 journos, senior journos for that, both said the right decision was made. And I
Made.
went, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That is
but
unusual.
has the rule changed? Because I always thought the game was over when the officiating umpires heard the siren.
Yeah.
So it's not actually when the siren sounds; it's when they hear it. So is that still the case?
Well, the infamous St Kilda Fremantle game in Tassie effectively changed that, didn't it? Because that was decided in the AFL commission room post the event based upon when the actual siren went, not when the umpire heard it.
because they hadn't heard it.
They hadn't heard it at all.
That had to go a second time.
Yeah.
But normally,
Yeah.
it's once the on-field umpire hears the siren and then the game's dead.
Yep.
Is that
That
still...
was my understanding,
Yeah.
but I think again, the rule that they wanted us to absorb in the media was that the ball was effectively dead in that moment when the siren was sounded and heard, and the umpire did hear it straight away effectively.
So if I'm running into open goal and I have a shot on goal and the siren goes, it can still roll through for a goal.
For a score, it's different again.
If the kick's away.
And the
if
but
you got
that's
the
a
kick
different
away.
rule there
it is.
to the boundary, isn't it?
But as we do know, and again, I listen to the AFL, and I agree that if they've signed off on it, that's what they ultimately and honestly believe to have happened. But they do have a lot of rules that can work in either situation. I reckon if they had have paid the free kick, the rules would have allowed them to have said that was the right call.
It was
to-
touch and go.
It was really touch and go, yeah, and not the reason that Fremantle lost. Just on Essendon too, we talk about rejigged forward lines. I mean, I don't have access to Jake Stringer. Peter Wright's out, obviously. Wiedemann pulled out late, and even Tipping Woody, who played last week, was not available this week. And they get a guy like Langford stepping up, Bill, and kicking a 5 without any great forward, craft in his.
But
in
look
his
at all
repertoire
the
to this
pressure
point.
indicators now and where Essendon sit on all of them. I think they're in the top 4 in all the ones that matter.
That wouldn't surprise you,
And
would it,
that's
with the coach?
because that's what Brad Scott has brought. So
Yeah.
he's, he, Clarko, and
Actually, I
and
put him
Ross
in there. Sorry,
are,
Brad Scott.
it is so brilliant to see them all back coaching, and you can see straight away the stamp those 3 have put on their teams. And I watched a bit of that game, not much of it, and it looked like a Brad Scott coach team.
Yep.
They're hard to score against, hard to move the footy against, a lot of pressure around the ball, all the things that he has been his brand forever, and he will be a superb coach for Essendon.
And the other mob were all right too.
Yeah, they weren't
For
the worst.
3 quarters.
They're
They
okay.
were good.
Yeah, but again, they don't ever surprise you with a win, do they? That mob. But we talk about Gold Coast here,
Gold
Bill.
Coast,
They just, to me, have had a history of teasing, and this is the year they were meant to actually do a bit more than that. And Okay, it's only 2 rounds in, but you look at the ladder and they're 0-2. And yesterday they had a chance at three-quarter time, scores were level, and they were the team that broke early in
What a
that last
game
quarter.
we got this. When is it? Saturday? Sunday?
Saturday.
Geelong,
Oh,
Gold
no.
Coast.
Yeah.
Both 0-2.
Yeah.
That'll
So
be
that-
up there
yeah,
too.
up there.
And they're hard to beat up there in the early rounds.
Some good rounds, games. It's
Well,
kinda
what
cool.
about this one, Jim, on Saturday? Hawthorn versus North Melbourne, Launceston.
Yep.
Of course, Hawthorn taking on Clarko. Hawthorn are $2.63. North are $1.49 favourite.
$1.49.
$1.49
shorter, isn't it?
North are.
Right.
And that's an interesting
Yeah,
game.
it is.
There.
No,
There'll
bloody
be a
oath
bit
it
of
is.
spice in that.
It's a tighter game than that, no doubt. That betting line.
But there's spice.
Or no, I think
Indian
grudge,
spice,
spice,
grudge
yeah.
match.
No, we'll more on the negative side of things next with Purple.
Barrett has stuck around JB his negatives from round 2 of AFL action.
By the way, that funding was $2 billion.
Billion.
The negatives. Where are we starting there?
Oh,
I got one.
I got a toss of the coin.
I got one.
Yeah.
Why did Jason Horne-Francis get booed? It wasn't a big boo, I don't think.
I was loud enough, wasn't it, Jim? You
Well, I
called it?
couldn't work it out.
Yeah.
I said on air, what is this for? He didn't leave Collingwood.
No.
I don't
No,
understand what
exactly.
It's weird.
I've stopped for some years trying to get inside the heads of Collingwood supporters, so I don't know why they would be doing that. But there's no obvious reason, is there, that they would be doing
There was
it?
nothing in the game.
No.
So I don't know.
And
I mean, at one stage, he and Taylor Adams, just grabbed each other, but
How
that's
to do.
no different than any
that's
other.
a badge of honour to have Taylor Adams go,
Of
isn't it?
course.
So,
No,
yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't work it out.
neither
It
do
was
I.
weird.
I mean, I can understand if North, I
Yeah,
hate
that's-
booing, and we've discussed this
Yep.
regularly over the years. I hate
Yep,
booing,
I
but
do
I can
too.
imagine if North supporters do, and,
Yeah.
and that's all part of the theatre. But
Yeah.
Now, I think we might start with Hawthorn, Jim. I used the phrase at one stage last week that it's a form of tanking what they're going down the path of. And I'm not backing away from that. The decisions to offload some key players last year, Bill, in the trade period, particularly Mitchell, who they're paying to play, Gunston to the Brisbane Lions and O'Meara to the Dockers. Now, I get the argument, and I know, Jim, you study the list management space to a point. I mean, you have analysed it over the journey in other codes as well, but I just felt that they just cut too deep, too hard, and I'm not at all surprised to see last week resulting in a 10-goal loss to Essendon and 9 consecutive goals at the crunch time of that game, and then yesterday to be lucky to get away with an 81-point loss to the Sydney Swans in Sydney. I mean, that could have been 120 without it being too much of a stretch.
I was really interested in the Chiefs' take on this because I mean, all BS aside, I have huge regard for the Chiefs' intellect around all of these things. And he was really supportive of it. He said, "No, do it straight away. Do it as hard as you can. You'll bounce back quicker if you take the
Was
pain."
that before the 2 games have been played?
I don't know. It wasn't long ago. And when I heard that, I thought you gotta hold up.
Yeah.
You can't expose kids to
So
getting belted.
We're saying this. What about the supporters, like the heavy hitters, and how's that all going?
Well, there's a few things going on off the field as well. And again, I've been reporting, Bill, that the other clubs are not happy with Hawthorn, particularly with the management around the racism issue. Now, no one begrudges the club investigating itself for racism. There was good intent in that, but the manner in which that happened, and then in the eyes of some clubs, the dumping of the entire case to the AFL, which then made it a complete competition problem, and obviously specifically to the 2 main people out of it, being now the coaches of North Melbourne and Brisbane respectively, and Alistair Clarkson and Fagan. And then you've now got significantly varying views behind the scenes, Bill, of the power brokers, and every club's got power brokers, but there was certainly a tense moment last week inside the club when some supporters just voiced, where are we at as a footy club? And these are high-end supporters, and this is the backdrop of this. And now you don't have the luxury of, well, look what's happening on field, you can see the future, because you can't see any positive future.
And they're
right now.
used to winning.
They're used to winning. And as Justin Reeves, the CEO himself, only 2 weeks ago on media said, we are in the business of winning premierships. And it's a big statement to make when you're now 0-2 as they are, and in a world of hurt when it comes to to getting out of it.
So that's not surprising many, because especially when they did the cutting, everyone thought, wow, this is going to be a tough year for the Hawks. I didn't see the Western Bulldogs in the position they're in now.
I didn't either. And you let them off, I did anyway, with what happened in round 1, Jim, with the 50-point loss to Melbourne. And that can happen. I mean, Melbourne does that.
Yeah,
they
good
did
side.
to the same team in a grand final 2 years ago. So, but you do have to take notice, don't you, when you look at what happened against St Kilda with, as we discussed earlier, the makeshift forward line that it has got, and the fact that, like, even Zane Cordy ended up being part of that makeshift forward line for St Kilda when he was a former Bulldog. So, I mean, it's just, again, I will wait till round 6
Well, which we
before
always
I
do,
before I draw
absolutely.
a line on
good,
them.
Damian.
But there's enough to be concerned about to this point.
Makeshift forward lines. What about Freo? Having said that, they put Luke Jackson. They started with Sean Darcy, poor old Sean Darcy in the forward line. He's not a forward, and I don't think, as Jim says...
Are you worried about him, Bill, given what's happened to the 2 weeks we've seen with
No, I'm
with
not,
Jackson?
because Geelong will pick him up.
Sean Darcy as well, will they?
Yeah, they'll get Sean. Oh, Luke Jackson, I'm worried about. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, but I'd never thought he was a forward, Purple.
Yeah.
He's not a key forward, not yet anyway.
Well, he can't mark. And
he's
unfortunately, just keeps dropping what goes near him.
He's an unbelievably good, Brody Grundy type ruckman following. He's almost a ruck rover, I think. And if he's allowed to do that, he's exceptionally good at it. But I've never seen him as a big power forward, or even someone that Bill understands forward craft,
Yeah, that's
where to
right.
be. And
Where
it's a
to lead
difficult
or
club
run.
to play forward in too, because their forwards go so high up the ground.
Well, they don't have forwards, do they?
It's not a conventional forward
Yeah.
structure you're playing.
So he's not a forward. Sean Darcy's not a forward. Nat Fyfe's not a
Nat
forward.
Fyfe's
And they're all
now-
playing in the forward
Well,
line.
Fife's got a plantar fasciitis issue, which could be multiple weeks now,
Just
Bill. It's
jump
not
off the
just
chair.
like Robert Harvey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mate,
Yeah, they've
No,
got
they're
their
a worry.
concerns.
They're a-
The Derby now is a big game.
huge.
The Derby's a massive game. Massive game. Yeah.
How's Dusty going?
Well, he was subbed out, and that's to me it was unusual to sub him out. Now,
Exactly.
I can understand post-match you then want to play it down and say it was a management issue for a quick turnaround for a round 3 game, but Dusty doesn't get subbed out,
No,
does he?
I
Not,
wouldn't
not
have
when
thought.
he's put his hand up to play.
And you know what happened? When he got subbed out, Richmond kicked 6 goals. They went berserk because Adelaide were coming, and they kicked 6 goals when he got subbed out. But he's gone for scans, hammy or something.
Didn't catch up with what it was, but yeah, soft tissue, I believe.
Just
Bill.
keep an eye
yeah.
on little
Geelong,
Dusty.
Geelong, I was. We touched on that a moment ago. I wasn't as worried as maybe some, Bill, but there were just some signs in that game on the most recent one against Carlton that is of concern for.
And I'm sure they're all over it down there. Just got to get the ball in the midfield. That's be a start. Thank God Jeremy Cameron's still hadn't had the baby. Can you believe that, Chezza?
He was going to play only a half of
2
the first
weeks
game, wasn't
ago,
he? Yeah.
So we wait on that.
Touched on Gold Coast before in terms of it being a team that just never, ever surprises me with an upset win. And I feel and fear that the Crows are in that same bracket. They've been okay in both games and gave themselves a chance. Against Richmond, the comeback was really, really impressive. But equally deflatingly was then allowing the Tigers to then go away again for the second time within the game.
Showdown this week.
Yeah.
Some good games again.
It's going to be massive, isn't it, when it comes to the outcomes of those games? You've also got another grudgy type of matchup too, as well as the Clarko North Melbourne situation against Hawthorn.
Yes.
Dunkley playing the Bulldogs
Western
because there
Bulldogs.
is no love between that club and that former club and that former player. So, yeah, there's a bit going on in that space.
So buses.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. I thought they were a month away.
They were. This will be interesting where it goes.
Given what I did hear only about an hour ago about what happened at Hawthorn last week, we're going to put one there, and it's been there regularly, Jim, out at Waverley, and as they try and move into a Dingley life, but we'll leave it at Waverley. And we have to get out to the Whitten Oval too at this early stage of the season.
Are you driving that bus?
No, I won't be. I'll make sure
Take
it's
your life into your own hands, Purple.
Well, I think we went there at one stage last year too, didn't we, Jim? I think they got themselves. We took the bus away late in the year, but it'll be there early after round 2.
You're driving it, I reckon. Out there over the West Gate.
No, I might get another driver to get it. I'll drive the one to Hawthorn.
JB and Bill.
I'm in Adelaide tomorrow.
Why?
Fat was meant to be in Adelaide.
Yes.
So it's all booked. And by the way, all booked through his management company.
TLA.
Yeah. Sally.
So and Sally's a superstar, of
Chompers.
course. But she has organised for us all to go over because Liv, the tournament's coming up. Wade Ormsby, of course, a great old mate of mine, is playing in the tournament. It's at Grange in Adelaide. So we were going to catch up with Orms. Orms was going to help Fat out with his game.
Yes.
And then Fat suddenly decided he couldn't go because he was in a meeting. This is his management company.
Yes.
So I'm doing you a favour by going.
No, you're not.
And now you're not going.
Well, he saw my swing. He said, I can't do anything. But Bernie's coming on.
No, well,
isn't he?
Bernard
Yeah.
will come down.
Good
So
on you,
we'll
Bern.
get, because he's got the crash hook going at the minute. He's all over the place with his golf. Bernard.
Can't
So
get
anyway.
a ticket to that.
No,
Liv.
sold out.
Sold.
Completely sold out. It's going to be superb.
It will be.
Orms has just won a tournament, obviously, up in Thailand, so he's flying.
Yep.
Rory Laird, or as we call him, Stumpy,
Stumpy.
also coming in. So it's going to be a nice show tomorrow.
Nice show. And I'll be here.
The whole reason we're going was you.
Well,
And
I'm
now
sick
you're
of
not
travelling.
going.
I've
Yeah.
travelled a lot
You're sick
lately.
of travelling.
Yeah, sick of
Right,
travelling,
okay.
Jim. I got
that's good.
burnout. Speaking of burnout, let's hear the joke.
Oh, my God.
End the day with a laugh.
I have a joke.
This is Billy's joke.
All right.
Oh, it's a Monday night joke, Jim. Why did the Willy Wonka close his chocolate factory?
Why?
He was short-staffed.
Was the meant
No,
to go
it
in there?
shouldn't. Probably didn't have to put that in there. Why did Willy Wonka close his chocolate factory?
There we go.
He was short-staffed, Jim. Yeah,
Even
it's not
without,
bad.
even without
But been a problem
Actually,
since
to be fair.
Corona. Just hard to find staff, Jim.
No, it'll be because of the Oompa Loompas.
No. Just in case political correctness was listening.
There we are. Yep. No, good.
Yes, PC.
So anyway.
Yeah, no, we all need a pub.
How the hell are you giving that?
It's Monday, it's raining.